guys. So this is day one of our brief overview of our skills. It's just going to be a couple minutes each day to kind of go over our big important skills that we've learned this year and jog your memory and hopefully get you ready for the test. So our two skills that we're going to talk about today are inference and main idea. Let's start with inference. So inference is when you look at the information that you have or what you've read in the story, and then you make a decision based on what you see and what you know. So the two things that you put together to make an inference are your prior knowledge and your text clues. So prior knowledge are things that you already know. Okay, so let's go back to our example of the baby bag. You are walking down the street and you find a bag on the ground, and you open it up and it's got a bottle and it's got diapers and it's got formula and it's got a little baby onesie, okay? So we know based on our prior knowledge, stuff that we already know in our head, oh, this bag totally belongs to like a mom or a baby, right? Because who else would need those things? So that's prior knowledge, stuff you already know. Then you pair it with text clues. So text clues are things that are happening in the story. So if you're reading a book and it says that Cameron came home and all the lights were off, but there were a lot of cars in the driveway, and he opened the door slowly and the lights flipped on and all these people jumped out and said, "Surprise!" Okay, well, what's happening? So we read that in the story. The lights were off, Cameron got home, he went in, people jumped out and said, "Surprise." I know that when there's a surprise party, people do that. They jump out of the dark and say surprise. So we can make an inference that there is a party happening, right? Okay, and that's what inference is. You think about stuff you already know, you pair it with clues from the story, and then you can make an inference. All right, our other skill that we're going to talk about today is main idea. And we've talked about main idea like a bajillion times this year. So main idea is what the text is mostly about. What is the thing that the author wants you to know, okay? What's the big idea, as this guy says? So whenever we think about the main idea, we decide, well, this is what the story is mostly about. That's the main idea. But then we also list details to help me decide, oh, these all point to the fact that this is the main idea. So sometimes we use a chart like this. We have a box that has our main idea, and then we have three smaller boxes, just like that. So if you think about our story from a couple weeks ago, Life on the Ice, they talked about the North Pole and the South Pole, and they're the coldest places on Earth and how hard it is to live or work there. Okay, so think about that story. What do you think the main idea of that story was? Right, it's life in the poles is cold and hard. Okay, they give us examples about the North Pole and the South Pole, but the main idea, the point that the author wanted us to get, the big idea is life in the North and the South Pole is not easy because it's so cold. So what about supporting details? Do you remember things that you read that would have made me believe, oh yeah, that's definitely the main idea? Well, they talk about how no one can live there because it's so cold. They talk about how there are few animals. Okay? And they talk about how hard it is for planes to even get in and out because it's all just white snow. So it's hard to get to. Okay? So these are my details, and all three of these details support my main idea that life in the poles is cold and hard. Okay, so that was our review for today about main idea and inference. When you come back tomorrow, we'll have two more.